But we're not a software company. We are a hardware company. We remain vigilant in keeping quality high no matter what we were doing. How are we doing? Here we are with another episode of Breaking It Down. So today we're going to talk about what kind of spectrum of products Morpho works with. When I first had moved to Guangzhou, I met a guy, had a beer with him, and they kind of had a similar model to what Morpho is today. He said that his CEO, however, was going in every single direction possible. We'll make this, we'll make plants, we'll make books. And it got me thinking, right? To really scale a business, you need to either have your own stuff or you need to be specialists. And if you look at, that business is now defunct. I think they approached it as though one business, one size fits all. And that's just not the reality, right? And so as we scaled and we increased our offerings and widened the spectrum of products that we were capable of making, it was important to me that we didn't dilute the product and service that we were providing. That we remained vigilant in keeping quality high no matter what we were doing. And so that came down to hires, right? Being able to hire somebody that had experience with lead, being able to hire somebody that had experience with metal, with plastic injection molding, with PCBs and electronics, being able to hire an engineer that does ID or ND or electrical design. There were a lot of questions, and obviously we weren't capable of doing that from day one. So I tried to figure out as much as I could of each of these industries individually and land clients in those industries. And so that worked for a time, obviously, but as one person, I could only do so much. And so we started expanding. And being able to expand, was very exciting. And being able to hire people of different backgrounds was great. So at this point, we do all of those different things that I said. We have lots of different experts that help us in different industries. But what don't we do? If you're listening to this, should you avoid Morpho if you have an idea? So I'll give a few examples. One is food, right? We're not a food and beverage company. It's just not something that we're ever going to do. I think for pretty obvious reasons, but you'd be surprised at how many leads come in asking us if we can make coffee or whatever, right? That's just not our business. The same goes for chemicals. A lot of people want to do stuff related to chemicals, or they want to make a nootropic. And with food, beverage, chemicals, it's kind of the same answer. The reason we don't do it, what do we want to do? Get involved with the FDA, right? We already have enough certifications that need to be done on the products that we do. I'd rather avoid going into something so different and completely different than what we are already. So those are the two main ones. Also, something that we rarely do is commodity stuff. Right? If you want to buy containers of wood, right? We're not your guys, right? There's so many people better suited to help you source commodities. Next is almost like commodities in the sense that it's factory stuff that is white label. There are customers we have that are sorely based doing stuff that's white label. There are a lot of customers we have that have their own designs but want to add some extra white label products so that they can fill up their customer shopping cart easier, right? There's obviously things we do, but for the most part, we're not going to help you to make, get 1,000 shirts from a factory, right? It's just not what we do. And I think that is a good segue into what we do excel at. What we excel at is complexity. Stuff that you can't just go on Alibaba and quote shop and get 30 different quotes over the course of a week. Never mind, those quotes probably aren't accurate, but you just can't do that with complex products. That is really where we excel. Coming up with a product that has an extensive BOM list, bill of materials, helping people design and engineer products that are very complicated. And that comes across a wide range of industries, like I mentioned earlier, whether that's plastic for an encasing for a tech product, whether that's metal that needs to be, extremely intricate design and, really CNC'd at a very fine level. Whether that's a leather bag that has just something different, right? What I say all the time is we're looking for products that we can help become the Rolexes and the Rolls Royces of their intended niche. You know, a lot of the time, what made me make that change from doing easy stuff, commodities sourcing, moving into more of a CM, a contract manufacturing role, it was easy work, right? Taking an email and forwarding it to a factory, what value add are you giving your customers? The answer is basically zero. As the world has shifted, right? As trends in the world have shifted, as COVID hit, those companies are defunct, right? They didn't provide enough value. Therefore, their customers realized they didn't need them. Now they have no customers, and they're off pursuing other ventures. And I wish them the best. But I just knew from a very early stage that doing components and basic material was not something that we would be interested in. Like I mentioned, right? If someone has a bigger, an industrial machine, right? We did some fans for a mining company out of Canada. We'll do that. Right? We'll do some of this big industrial stuff. And a lot of the times it goes, people want to make, for example, a control box, with electronics that work with those fans, right? So a lot of that stuff goes hand in hand. And we end up taking on a lot of that with our current customer base, just because that's part of doing business. But if all you're trying to do is just get in something, commodity based, and again, find someone else, right? Your prices will be cheaper. And that's, we don't want people coming to us, work around or outside of our capabilities. One other example that I'll just give you real quick is software. We're not a software company, but software and hardware, again, hand in hand, right? Software helps to control the hardware. So when our customers come to us with their software, we have to put that software into the hardware, right? And the bridge is firmware. And so a lot of that bridging is something we can do, right? Our engineers have those capabilities, but we're not a software company. We are a hardware company. We focus on making complex items, really require a lot of heavy attention to detail, and really aren't just off-the-shelf products that anybody can make. So if that's you, you've definitely found your spot. Hopefully that sheds some light on the types of products that Morpho does and products that Morpho does not do, and you'd be better suited to find someone else. Hope to see you in the future. Have a good one. Peace.